Gentlemen, the Committee of Public Property, Public Works is now in session. Would the clerk please read the titles of the bills?
Bill number 140340, an ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property to A, acquire by lease or by deed land in the area bounded by the Delaware River, the former Frankfort Creek, Bridge Street, Tacony Street, and Dark Run Lane, extended to the Delaware River. B, convey by lease or by deed land in the area bounded by the Delaware River, the former Frankfort Creek, Bridge Street, Tacony Street, and Dark Run Lane, extended to the Delaware River, to the Philadelphia Authority for Industrial Development for further conveyance. C, acquire by deed and located at 3101 East Orthodox Street. And D, acquire by lease or by deed land in the area bounded by the Delaware River, Diston Street, extended to the Delaware River, Milner Street, and Princeton Avenue, extended to the Delaware River, all for nominal consideration and all under certain terms and conditions. And Bill number 140344, an ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Parks and Recreation and the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to execute a deed to the Philadelphia Authority for Industrial Development, paid, and to accept the deed from paid, and to execute all other necessary documents for the purpose of exchanging an approximately 1 1/10 acre parcel of city-owned land, the K&T parcel, that is part of a larger parcel commonly called the Kensington and Tacony Trail, the K&T Trail, running between Tacony Street and the Frankfort Creek for an approximately 1 1/10 acre parcel of land of equal or greater value owned by paid, located at 3101 East Orthodox Street, and upon completion of paid's acquisition of the K&T parcel, removing the K&T parcel from the K&T Trail and from the jurisdiction of the Departments of Parks and Recreation, subject to certain provisions. And Bill number 140350, an ordinance approving a lease amendment between Philadelphia Gas Works by Philadelphia Facilities Management Corporation solely in its capacity as operator and manager of the city-owned Philadelphia Gas Works and Girard Square ANY LP for certain premises located at 1137 Chestnut Street.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize that we have that a quorum is present to my left, Councilman Bill Greenlee to my right, Majority Leader Jones, and the Majority Leader Councilman David O. I appreciate your attendance here today, and good morning. We will begin our testimony of Bill number 140340 and 14344. Would the witnesses please approach the table and proceed with your testimony? Sorry. You identify yourself and for the record, and then you begin with your testimony.
Good morning, Chairman Heenan and members of the Public Property Committee. My name is Dwayne Bum, and I'm the Senior Deputy Director of Commerce. I'm joined at the table by Stephanie Craighead from the Department of Parks and Rec. I'm here today to testify in support of Bills 140340 and 140344, which were introduced by Councilman Heenan on April 24th, 2014. Pursuant to Bill number 140344, the City of Philadelphia, acting through the Department of Public Property, will transfer its interest in approximately 1.1 acres of land known as the former Kensington and Tacony Rail right-of-way to the Philadelphia Authority for Industrial Development, or PAID, for industrial reuse in exchange for land owned by PAID and located on the Delaware River waterfront at 3101 East Orthodox Street. Pursuant to Bill number 140340, the City of Philadelphia will acquire 2 properties located on the Delaware River waterfront from the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, or Fish and Boat, and 1 property from PAID that is currently part of the Frankfort Arsenal complex. The City will then subdivide one of the Fish and Boat properties and transfer a portion of that subdivided site, comprising approximately 9.5 acres, to PAID for industrial reuse. In exchange, the City will receive land owned by PAID located on the Delaware River waterfront at 3101 East Orthodox Street. These 2 bills taken together will generate approximately 55 acres of high-quality industrial land with frontage on Tacony Street in the Wissinoming section of Northeast Philadelphia. The final report released by the Manufacturing Task Force earlier this year and the industrial land use study prepared by PIDC in 2010, both identified manufacturing jobs as a top priority for economic development of the city. Both reports further pointed to the lack of large blocks of industrial land that is appropriately zoned with highway access as a major impediment to retaining and attracting manufacturing businesses in the city. In that context, this proposed land swap represents a unique opportunity to realize this important objective. In addition, the proposed swap will expand the amount of city-owned parkland with frontage on the Delaware River and will facilitate the development of the North Delaware Riverfront Greenway. It will also accommodate the future extension of Delaware Avenue from Orthodox Street to Tacony Street. Thus, this transaction also furthers a top priority of this administration to expand recreational opportunities on the waterfront and to enhance the accessibility of those waterfront amenities to surrounding neighborhoods. I respectfully request that you favorably vote Bill 140340 and Bill 140344 out of committee and ask that you suspend the rules to provide for first reading on May 15th and second reading and passage on May 22nd. This concludes my testimony. I appreciate the opportunity to appear before you today and would be pleased to answer questions you may have if you want to hold until after Ms. Craighead.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can proceed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chairman Heenan and committee members, my name is Stephanie Craighead. I'm Director of Planning, Preservation, and Property Management for Philadelphia Parks and Recreation. I'm pleased to appear before you today on behalf of the Department of Parks and Recreation to testify on behalf of Bill 140340 and 140344. Philadelphia Parks and Recreation has been working with the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission for several years on an agreement to lease the Frankfurt Arsenal Boat Launch in order to facilitate construction of the K&T segment of the 9-mile North Delaware Riverfront Greenway, making site improvements and ensure continued public access to the river. When we learned of Philadelphia Industrial Development Corporation's interest in providing greater industrial development opportunities in the area surrounding the Frankfurt Arsenal Boat Launch, we joined in partnership with Commerce, PIDC, Fish and Boat Commission, and Streets Department to seek a solution. The ordinances presented today for your consideration will transfer ownership of 2 existing boat launches on the Delaware River from the state to the city and add an additional waterfront parcel to the inventory of Parks and Recreation. Together, the acreage of the three parcels equals the amount of land currently available for public access. There is no net loss of public land. In fact, the land exchange increases the length of river frontage under public domain by adding the Orthodox Street parcel to Philadelphia Parks and Recreation inventory. These 3 parcels will increase from 5 to 8 the number of riverfront parks along this stretch of Delaware River from Allegheny north to the city limit at Pequesson Creek. This represents a 37% increase in the number of city-owned public waterfront parks along this stretch of Delaware River. Acquisition of these parcels contributes to the mayor's goal of adding 500 new acres of public open space to the city's currently underserved areas. Parks and Recreation is committed to maintaining each of the 3 parcels as public open space, offering a range of riverfront access and activities, from motorized to non-motorized boat access to opportunities for fishing and quiet relaxation. Therefore, I appear before you to pledge the support of the Department of Parks and Recreation for this legislation and respectfully ask that City Council approve Bill number 140340 and number 140344. In addition, I respectfully request that this committee vote this bill out of committee with a favorable recommendation and that the rules be suspended to permit first reading at the next council session. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions if you have them.
Well, thank you both for your testimony. Do any members of the committee have any questions for the witnesses regarding these bills? Thank you. Is there anyone else here from the administration that wishes to testify on these 2 bills? Thank you. Is there anyone else here today that wishes to testify on these 2 bills? Thank you. Seeing none, we will now hear testimony of Bill number 140350. With Bernard Cummings and Janet Parrish, please approach the witness table. Identify yourself for the record and proceed with your respective testimony. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Heenan and members of the committee. My name is Bernard Cummings, and I am the Vice President of Customer Service and Collections for Philadelphia Gasworks, and I am presently in charge of PGW's customer service operations. I'm here today in support of Bill number 140350, which provides for the renewal of an existing lease agreement for the Center City Customer Service Center at 1137 Chestnut Street between PGW and Girard Square A and New York LP. The lease will provide PGW with approximately 4,500 square feet of grade-level retail commercial space at its current central location. This renewal agreement would extend the lease beginning August 1st, 2014, at an annual rental of $15,000 per month. In addition to rent, PGW will continue to pay all utilities and maintenance associated with the leasehold. The term will be for an additional 4 years, but neither PGW or the landlord may terminate the lease at any time on 12-month notice. We believe these to be reasonable rental terms for property in this area and have obtained an opinion of value from Crutchman and Wakefield sustaining this belief. All other terms and conditions of the lease will remain the same. PGW believes that the lease renewal is favorable to both PGW and its customers for a number of reasons. This location is convenient to public transportation and provides all ratepayers with a central location in the heart of Center City. Critically, however, the renewal provides PGW with a certain amount of flexibility and length of term so that PGW can explore customer service and other options. For these reasons, PGW seeks City Council passage of this ordinance. I would also ask the Chair for a suspension of rules to allow the bill to move forward expeditiously. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have. I also have with me today a PGW legal representative who can assist in answering any questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Shall I proceed? Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Heenan, members of the committee. My name is Janet Parrish. I'm the Executive Director of the Philadelphia Gas Commission. And thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning on behalf of the Gas Commission to testify in support of this bill. I have submitted written testimony on behalf of the Commission, which includes a copy of its order and resolution embodying its favorable recommendation to City Council on this lease. This action was taken by the Gas Commission at its public meeting held on April 8th, 2014. But rather than read from my testimony, I will simply note that the Commission did perform its due diligence review of the proposed lease amendment and also was required to give its favorable approval. In the course of that review, the Commission did feel that the general terms and the rental amount were reasonable for the reasons that Mr. Cummings has stated. Additionally, the Commission thought that there was one area with respect to which the language of the lease could be tightened slightly, and that was to provide that if in fact the landlord did give early termination notice, that it would be specified that PGW, once it had paid the rent for the remaining 12 months, would have no further obligations under the lease. So through the Commission's review, we did make minor adjustments to the language of the lease. And with those changes, the Commission approved the lease amendment and recommended favorably to City Council that it would also give its approval. We agree with the request for a suspension of the rules and also would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Well, thank you very much. The testimony references an opinion of value from Cushman and Wakefield. Could you provide a copy to the chair?
Of course.
When
Either Mr.
when you
Cummings
get an
or
opportunity?
myself.
Yeah,
Of
we can
course.
provide that.
I agree. Could you give us an idea of the annual cost of the utilities and maintenance associated with the building during the course of last year, the last lease?
I would have to defer to Yvette. I mean, I would,
You have that one at your fingertips?
Can-
we can
Can you
provide,
either come forward to the, for testimony, or if you don't have it present, you could also provide it to...
we can provide them to you, similar to
All right,
those.
so what I'm asking is an annual cost of utilities and maintenance associated with the building during the course of the last lease, please. Did PGW explore any other viable options prior to agreeing to renew the lease at 1137 Chestnut?
Not to my knowledge that we explored any other options. We're very pretty cemented in that location. We've been there for years. So we didn't explore any other options outside of the Center City location that we currently are right now.
If I could add to that, Chairman Heenan, I know that the last time, about 4 years ago, when this lease was up for renewal, and we had discussion before this same committee, PGW at the time was hoping to pursue possibly some consolidation of some of its properties, and did have in mind the possibility of perhaps co-locating with other city offices as an example. But I believe in light of the pending sale process, these types of initiatives were kind of put on hold. Additionally, I don't think any other alternative locations within city offices jumped out as being particularly available at the time.
And you work with public property? With the city of Philadelphia
PGW, I don't want to speak for PGW on that, but they did pursue the availability. I know they were looking at the water department, for example, as an agency to co-locate with. These are all options that I think would remain on the table once we get to a point where we can possibly move forward with such decisions again.
So right now, it makes sense for PGW to extend the lease, or this is a new lease for 4 years, is that correct?
It's a lease extension, and it makes sense to sort of maintain the status quo at this time with the early termination option built in the event that any changes would need to be made one way or the other.
Okay. Mr. Cummings, can you elaborate a little more on your statement that you made in your testimony? The renewal provides PGW with a certain amount of flexibility and strength in the terms that PGW can explore customer service and other options. What do you mean by customer service and other options?
Well, in our customer service centers, we provide various different services, and being in a prime location at Center City, it's a location where all customers from all across the city can actually have a point of contact by public transportation. Having this location will allow us to explore other initiatives, like maybe putting in kiosks to better serve our customers, to maybe even have additional hours on Saturday to maybe better serve our customers. It allows us to have a central location that we can meet the needs of our customers on a daily basis.
Is there a plan for kiosks, or is PGW putting together an RFP or an RFQ for exploring those options?
Yeah, we are currently in the process of evaluating different initiatives, one being maybe putting in kiosks, maybe even expanding some of our payment options. So we actually have a vendor currently that we have a contract with, and that we will expand the use of various different technological options that we have to better serve our customers.
What are your payment options now?
Right now, you can pay by check, by cash, you can pay by debit card, credit card. Those are the traditional means of making a payment, at least in the district offices. Or you could make a payment through the mail, through our remittance processor, or you can make a check by phone, or even make payments over the internet.
So you can pay online?
And you can pay online, yes, through our website, yes.
How much foot traffic do you experience
It's funny, last year,
at that location? I mean, at that location, it seems like it's high volume, a lot of foot traffic.
yeah, in our fiscal 13, we actually had 42,000 customers out of our little over 200,000 in all of the 6 district offices. So 42,000 actually came through Center City in fiscal 13, PGW's fiscal 13.
If you're are you looking to extend the hours at all the locations of service?
What I would say is that we would do the analytics behind to figure out what's the best best hours to suit the needs of our customers.
Because I passed by a service location this morning, and there was a line out there, first thing this morning.
Yeah.
Is that common every day?
Yes, on Monday mornings, especially during non-payment shut-off season, where customers are receiving shut-off notices for non-payment, oftentimes on Monday mornings, you will have customers before we open up at 9 o'clock. Keep standing in line, and we open up our hours from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. Anyone from the committee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a follow-up to Councilman Heenan's last question about the hours. I know at one time this site was not open every day. Is it open every day now? Or?
No,
Okay.
we have at least 4 district offices open Monday through Friday. The actual Center City location is actually open on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
So not open Thursday?
Not open
Okay.
Thursday.
So what is that, a manpower thing? Just trying to...
We have a staff, and what we do is we allocate resources. Each DO has on average about 8 to 9 customer service representatives on a daily basis.
And it's 9 to 5? Is that what you're saying?
9 to 5, yeah.
No Saturday? Not Saturday at this?
At the present time, no Saturdays, hour.
Okay. Is any location open Saturday? Or?
Excuse me?
Is any locations open Saturday? Or?
No, at the moment,
Not
no.
yet?
No
Okay.
locations open Saturday.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chair recognizes Majority Leader Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just as a follow-up to the follow-up, and as a gas commissioner, I should put that on the record, we're paying $720,000 a year annually for that location. You said $15,000 a month,
$15,000 a month, $180,000 per year.
so we paid $720,000. So over the last 4 years, over 4 years, it'll be $720,000.
Approximately, correct.
Right? And so we had, how long have we been in this location?
To my knowledge, 1994.
So we're paying $750,000 a year, and we're only open 3 days a week there? 4 days?
Yeah.
$750,000 for over 4 years.
Yes. So it just seems to me, you know, for a facility that we're paying premium rent for, that we would maximize its utility with a Saturday and at least an extended hours twice a week. I mean, we're you know, compared, where else are we located?
We are located in Center City, West Philadelphia, South Philadelphia.
So are they open full, the West Philadelphia site is open 7 days a week?
No, the West Philadelphia office is only open 4 days a week.
And what is the rent we pay there?
We actually own the West Philadelphia location.
And what about the other location?
PGW owns the West Philadelphia location, the South Philadelphia location, and the North Philadelphia location. We actually have lease or rent the Frankfurt location, Germantown, and the Center City.
Can you provide for the chair what we're paying and the hours of that? And my only suggestion would be, at least in one location, and particularly probably the Center City location, that we consider being open full-time, all the time, and at least part of a Saturday. Because many people who have to pay those bills are working, and from time to time can't get down there as conveniently as they might want to. So some Saturday hours would be something that I think are in order.
Okay.
Councilman Jones, I asked Mr. Cummings that same question before we began today about the Saturday hours, because historically there have been Saturday hours at the Center City office, which is, I think, what you're all alluding to. And typically during the shut-off season, if you will, when there is obviously increased customer traffic. And Mr. Cummings had indicated to me that certainly consideration was being given to opening on Saturdays later in the summer, with the thought being that as the next heating season approached, there tends to be yet a further increase in customer traffic. But your points are well taken, and I
So what can
will
we...
certainly follow up with that.
When you take this back, can you give us an answer at some reasonable point, maybe before, in about 30 days?
Yes, that's a reason. Yes, we can.
All right, in writing. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Majority Leader. And just to piggyback on the piggyback on the piggyback on this thing, if you could provide to the chair what we lease and what we're paying and the utilities and the costs associated with all of our service, locations. And also, could you, when you take it back and you get back to us in 30 days, an analysis of the capacity of each of the service locations. So we want to, we want to see what kind of volume, see if there's a backlog, what types of, if you can identify the types of walk-ins and for what reasons. Are they mostly shut-offs? Are they bill payments? Because if we're paying the premium of $15,000, $250,000 over X amount of years, that may be fine if the ends justify the means, and we're providing a good service and if we have changed with the times, especially if we did have Saturday hours. We have other payment options, that we could take a look at that. And if you come back to us and say, we are having an outside vendor that's analyzing all of our data right now, we would appreciate some sort of summary of what you're trying to do and the timelines on that.
That can be done.
Anybody else from the committee have any further questions?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, there was an extra copy of the Cushman and Wakefield opinion of value that is available now. You would ask that it be provided to the committee, so we could provide it for the record right now if you would like.
Sure, that'd be great. Clerk will hand that, and we'll make copies and distribute it to the members. I just want to clarify for the record that I gave Councilman O a raise in his ascending to majority leader. He is he is the whip. He's the minority whip. So I want to clarify that for the, yeah. All right. Is there anyone else here who wishes to testify on 14035? With that, thank you for your testimony. Appreciate your time coming in. All right, this concludes our public hearing. We will now move into our public meeting. The chair also recognizes that Councilman Squilla has joined us today. He's been here for a little bit, and I failed to recognize him, so thank you. We will now, as I said, we are now going to go into our public hearing. The chair recognizes Councilman Greenlee for the motion of bill number 140340.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that bill number 140340 be reported out as committee with favorable recommendation that the rules of council be suspended to allow for first reading our next session of council.
Do I hear a second? It has been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Bill number 140340 will be reported out of committee with a favorable recommendation and with suspension of the rules so to allow first reading at our next council session. The chair now recognizes Councilman Greenlee for a motion of bill number 140344.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that bill number 140344 be reported out of this committee with a favorable recommendation and the rules of council be suspended to allow for first reading at our next session of council.
It has been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Bill number 140344 will be reported out of committee with a favorable recommendation and with a suspension of the rules as to allow first reading at our next council session. Chair recognizes Councilman Greenlee for a motion of bill number 140350.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that bill number 140350 be reported out as committee with a favorable recommendation and that the rules of council be suspended to allow for first reading at our next session of council.
Second has been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Bill number 140350 will be reported out of committee with a favorable recommendation with a suspension of the rules so that we'll allow first reading at our next council session. This concludes our public meeting. Thank you all for coming.